You want to make it a nice oblong shape to stop it puffing up. Just dot the top. So we're going to be baking these for around about 15 minutes. It might look very shaky or it might look fine, because we can sort that out in a minute. If you sort of put one layer first and then put another layer on top afterwards. And for you folk at home which are using puff pastry, this is the frozen type. All we need to make sure is your thickness is around about 3 mil thick. And the size of one of these is 7.5 inches by 11 inches. Now this amount of pastry will make 8 custard slices. Now next part of the video, I'll be showing you how to make the pastry from scratch. Now, if you're gonna buy frozen pastry, by the time you've gone to the supermarket to buy it, you can make it yourself. All right, so I'll just show you how quick it is in this next video, how to make it. And for your pastry recipe, you want 1/4 pint of water, a good pinch of salt, 5 ounces, this is actually a Cornish mix I've got in here of different fats, but you can use lard or white shortening, whichever you decide. And in here, 8 ounces of just straightforward plain flour. Now plain flour, this is basically what you use for cake making. So for mixing it all together, just put our salt in first, give that a mix around, add in our fat. It's best to use frozen fat really, because you want it still in chunks. Give that a mix in. This is so simple to do, really. There you go. Get some flour on the side here, just in case you need a bit more. Just add in our water. Make a bit of a well in the middle. Add your water in. And just mix this in. Like this. Now you want it fairly tight because of your fat. You make the pastry to whatever your fat is, really. Bit more flour. You don't want to mess around with this too long, really. And there you go. That's your pastry. We're now ready to use. So we'll get straight on and roll that out. It's now that time in the video. If you like this type of content, please subscribe and please share. And don't forget to give us a like. To start with, give your board a good flour down. This is just to stop the pastry sticking. Unlike puff pastry, this is a faster way of making puff pastry, okay? And we call it in the trade rough puff. And basically you're going to be rolling this out and going to give it 3 turns. But the last time you do it is just before you actually roll it out for your pies and pasties. You want to make it a nice oblong shape. And we're then going to fold it in thirds over the top. Try and keep those edges a bit squarer than what I've got there. Look, it's all sticking. Yeah, get some more flour down. And once again, do that again. Roll it into an oblong shape. And a third and a third. If your fat is very soft, then your pastry wants to go into the fridge for around about half an hour just to cool down. Now you've finished off rolling out your third turn, we're now ready to roll out the pastry. Now we want to be rolling this pastry down so it's almost 3 millimeters thick, give or take. But once you've got your pastry like this and you've rolled out to the correct sizes, all you need to do is dock it. This is a docker. They can buy them off Amazon or wherever. I think eBay as well, you can get these. They're very small and they're useful. They're not really spiky, but they're just enough to give you pastry. The idea is you don't want it all fluffed up and puffy. You spend all your time putting the puff into the puff pastry and now you're docking the death out of it to stop it puffing up. Just dock the top. And if it's frozen products, just dock the base as well. Like that. And now we're going to pop these onto a baking tray. Now this is a baking tray. Now on this I've got silicone paper, or you can put baking parchment. Now if you're using puff pastry frozen from a supermarket, you really need to be resting this for at least 20 minutes before putting them in the oven. So we'll get them straight into the oven. Now your oven temperature wants to be around about 400 Fahrenheit. Now this particular dial here is a bit old. and you can't see it very well. But the 400, that is actually around about 425 Fahrenheit. Now, alternatively, you can be baking in an oven for around about 15 minutes at that temperature. But if you're using Celsius, you want an oven of about 200 Celsius. And if it's fan assisted, about 190 fan. Right, we'll get them straight into the oven. So we're going to be baking these for around about 15 minutes. In my oven, I've had to put them at the front because at the far end, it's 425 to 450, and this front is around about 400. So there's our baking sheets out of the oven. As you can see, they're nicely baked. So what do we do next? Well, I'll tell exactly what you're going to be doing next. You need basically some custard, don't we? So this is our custard powder. Now you can obtain this product from eBay and Amazon. It is actually special custard powder that all you have to do is add water to it and it'll make it a beautiful custard. It's not that other stuff like birds add into milk. This is a straightforward, proper product that the bakers use all the time. And that's what I use. Because you guys out there in the real world want this type of product. So we only have to give you exactly what you want. You come in and say they're nice and lovely, and we give you exactly what you want. And you could say this is premix. That's 12 ounces of custard powder, and in the water, that's 30 fluid ounces. And all we need to do is put it straight in like this. Always put your water in first and then add your custard in afterwards, all right? Then all we're going to do is give it a good mix. Now, I don't know what this is going to look like to you. It might look very shaky or it might look fine, because I am actually wearing the cam actually on me. It's just to give you a bit more insight into what goes on. And sometimes by wearing a cam like this, you can see more of it. And that's it. It's simple as that. 2 or 3 minutes, whipped up, and it's fine. So putting on the pastry, very simple and easy. You can use your hands, use gloves, whatever you want to do. But I do it this way. Scrape it round and then just pick some up and place it on like this. All right, so it's evenly across the pastry. Now, if you don't want as much custard as this, then don't make so much up. Now, don't worry if it's over the sides completely, because we can sort that out in a minute. Now, just get your scraper, just run round like this, okay? Like that. Just leaning in towards the custard like that, okay? Let's plunk it on there. And all we do then is put your lid on. Take your hand on the top and just push it down. Just move it about. Now, if it comes out the side like this, just get over to your scraper and push it in. All right? Same as this side, up, and just fill any air holes you've got. And there you go, folks. Wasn't that nice and simple? Now, anybody can do it like that, believe me, so they say. Now, if you're topping, this is a product called Fondant. Now, there is a video on there for you. You can follow that, or you can use icing, sugar and water. Or you can use glucose, icing, sugar and water. To that effect, it comes out very much the same. But I think you'd be better off making it fondant, because that's what we use. And all we're going to do is pop this in the microwave for about one minute, give or take, all right? This is what I've just done. So we're going to give that a good stir around. Then all we're going to do is just pour it onto the top, all right? Like this. Okay, and just spread it across. If you sort of put one layer first, and then put another layer on top afterwards. All right, like that. A little bit more. You can put as much as you like on the fondant. If you like it nice and thick, then put it thicker. Like that. Okay, So all we'll do is now just let that set, and then we'll cut them up. And of course, you can then eat them. Right, now for cutting this up. Now, for me, this makes 8, but you can make it how you want, really. If you want to make 10, you can do whatever you like. But out of this piece, you get 8. So first, we drop down a line down the middle, like this. Okay. Then you find the middle again, and then again of each. Okay. And that's it. And then you saw it up with this one. But I found that it's easy to go get yourself a really sharp knife and go for the top part first, like this. And then use a proper knife. And then do that with your knife. Keep them all nice and clean. And that is your custard slices. Look at that, folks. Just ready to eat, isn't it? Who doesn't like a custard slice? And if you like this type of content, please subscribe and please share. And don't forget, if you want to buy me a coffee, there's a link there. Laters!